Well, hey, welcome back to the Big Show, guys. Good to see you guys again. Thank you for everyone who's tuning in right now, because I know we got the football playoffs going on as we speak. So for every one of you guys who chose this over that, we appreciate you. Listen, so by now, I think most of you know that in addition to coaching men and women on life events and fitness, that I also give dating advice. Ironically, out of the three, dating coaching seems to be the more sought after advice that I'm asked about. And personally, I think it should be the last, but here we are anyhow. That said, I've navigated this dating pool alongside of you for many years. I've always had a good understanding of female behavior, and I've dated hundreds of women. So I know firsthand the red flags to look out for and where she will fit within my life. Now, although the times, there's been times in my past relationships where they have played out. Some of them, they play out exactly how I planned them to be. And there have been times where I've tried pushing relationships further down the path than they were even qualified to be. There's been women in my life that I've really wanted. Some I cared about so much that my feelings persuaded my judgment. There were times where I've made decisions to ignore her shortcomings. And I've said to myself that if I was giving advice to another man in the same situation, I tell him that he was foolish for what he's about to do. So I know this. I knew I was being a hypocrite, yet I did it anyways. My point is, guys, I've been on all sides of the spectrum, okay? I've simped for women in the past. I've been a hard ass. I've been in situations where I didn't try enough. And I've been in situations where I've tried to make it work too hard. Men, as you know, dating women is a complex thing because most women are illogical. They don't make dating them very easy, to be honest. Their brains, our brains, we don't see the same things. Men and women, our brains don't see the same things. They tend to care more about how they feel about something rather than fixing the issue. Whereas men care less about how we feel about the issue and more about fixing the issue, opposites of each other. Relationships are multifaceted and complex, and each one is unique, but there are a few things that do work across all relationships, transferable, if you will. Paths that if you follow, they will give each partner some of the more important things that they crave in their mate. And here to help me talk about this topic is a man who knows all too well what can happen when you choose the wrong woman. He's put together a plethora of stats and advice on his personal website, pissedoffparent.com. My good friend, Dwayne Ward. What do we have going on right here? You see? You see the mockery. You see the mockery. Richie, do not encourage this. Do not encourage this.
I'm wondering if I should go. I feel, is this like Blazer Sunday or something? Because I can go get my blazer on. I didn't know it was like,
Oh
Sunday.
my God. He's got the bald cap and a blazer and my background. Okay. All right. You got me.
I wanted to kind of highlight your T-shirt that you got and, see what my chances are here.
So
I didn't see the bald cap.
He's got a bald cap on.
I didn't see that.
Do we look like twins right now, Richie?
I think we're twins. It just looks like they're mini-me.
So a couple of days ago, my doorbell rings. I'm like, what is this? I answer the door. There's a package from Amazon. I'm like, I didn't buy anything from Amazon. I look at it, and it is a gift from Dwayne, and I decided to go ahead and wear it. It says, with a body like this, who needs hair? So I'm honoring him by wearing the shirt that he bought me. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you.
This joke could not have worked any better.
Oh, my God. I really need to be looking at you more than looking at the camera, because the last few episodes that I looked over finally after doing my intro, you've done something crazy. But for those of you who do not know, Dwayne Ward, guys, my co-host, and for those of you who are avid watchers of The Big Show, you've probably noticed the other guy in red today. He is a very well-known personal trainer in the Central Florida market. A good friend of mine for many, many years. Give it one time for Coach Rich Massa. Welcome back to the show, Rich. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me tonight. I think it's a perfect subject for me to give a little input. I'm ready to hear what your guys' input as well on this.
Well, I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you to fix that Wish.com microphone because it sounds like shit right now.
Yeah, had that max headroom look there or sound.
All right, I'm gonna go switch over. I will switch back over to the laptop, and I'll come right back in.
Oh,
right?
great. Yeah.
You want you can borrow this? I don't know.
No, I still have my hair.
Oh,
Listen. I'm not completely out of the game yet, but yeah. So you see, let me get back to focusing on this show here because you guys got me all screwed up right now. All right, what are we talking about? Today's episode, it's a good one because it probably struck the attention of many people when you read the actual headline. It is, if she doesn't respect you, dump her. And I figured that it's always good to have your take on it, Dwayne.
Oh, yeah.
But I wanted to bring Rich on, especially for this episode, because Richie and I, we've been running on the dating scene now for 20 years. We've known each other for a long, long time. He's known a lot of my crazies, and I know all his crazies. And there's been times where we've been treated well, and there's been times where we have not been treated well. And we want to talk about today about mostly respect and how important it is for men and what happens when you are faced with disrespect by a woman. What should you do? Should you give her a chance? Should you kick her to the curb? So I definitely want to get some feedback from Rich. Rich, is your audio working? Are you all good?
Yeah, I think so. How's that sound?
There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Maybe just a smidge. Turn the volume down just a smidge.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. You're all up in our ears, and I've got big ass ears, so I can hear not only what you're saying, but probably what you're thinking. All right, so
and we're hearing from looks like Australia's tuning in. So yeah, we've got some folks out in Australia. It's morning time for them. We're gonna do some international info and news here for everyone. But yeah, let's jump into don't disrespect them or they'll dump you.
Yeah, so you see, men and women have had our brains hardwired to look for certain traits in the opposite sex, and these things have been slowly embedded in us for thousands of years. Some of the things that round off the top of the list for women are to seek men who can provide and protect her. We know that. Hypergamy, right?
Hypergamy, in a good sense.
Safe. Yeah, safe, loved. At the top of many men's list is to seek a nurturing woman that brings peace to the household, a woman that appreciates all he does for her and who respects him. So it doesn't mean those are the only things, but it kind of rounds off the top of the list, you know? And the most important thing to understand about men is that they value being respected more than they value being loved. Now, that does not mean we don't want to be loved. I'm talking about what really is valuable to us. And to many women, that probably sounds crazy. Yes, love is incredibly important, but how do we feel loved is the big question here. Many men describe that they know that their wife, their daughter, their mother loves them, but they're not always sure that she likes them. How this shows itself is that many women treat the men in their lives harsh. They're very critical. They use sharp, commanding, or condescending tones of voice. And sometimes they treat the man like a child. A lot of guys that are listening to this right now know exactly what I mean. Yeah. And this makes a man feel disrespected. And although he knows that the woman deep down loves him and that she'd show up to support him if he's sick or injured, it still makes him resent her. Guys, I've given you guys a lot of advice this past year, and you've heard me say this over and over. Once you've lost respect from your woman, you've lost the woman. Yep. Women simply do not respect men who are lazy, incompetent, who cannot lead them, who get overly emotional, who they do not feel safe with, and who they know that they can walk all over. Mm-hmm. If you're a man that suffers from those things that I just mentioned that you need to be a better man, or you will always struggle with relationships, always.
Yep.
However, if you're a man who has done the work to be all those things and more, but she still disrespects you, then dump her. Fire your warning shots, draw your lines, have your conversations. But if she does not change, if she isn't following, if she's not in your frame, dump her. I've done it 100 times, guys.
You would give him a chance, really? Yeah. Wow.
Well,
okay.
you have your conversations with them.
Okay.
You know, she says something, and we're going to have Richie kind of chime in later on here today too about, because women use a couple different tactics on how they disrespect. But the thing about it, guys, is if you allow the disrespect to continue without having these conversations, if you don't, for more of a slang term, if you don't check that shit, sometimes she's going to continue to do it, and she's going to lose respect for you because she knows she can walk all over you. Because,
women are like velociraptors. They're always testing that barrier, trying to break through.
Yeah.
And once you allow them to do this one thing, that becomes the new bar, the new beginning phase. And then they just continue on. You got to, as you pointed out, cut that shit at the beginning and not put up with it.
Yeah. You know, I really do firmly believe that you have to teach people how to treat you. And that goes for the women as well, you know?
Yeah.
But this is an important topic because men feel loved when they're treated with respect. Now, at this point, there's probably women listening that maybe do not agree. And whenever I talk about this stuff, this is the part where women start to interject and tell me that they need respect mutually and equally. And I want to assure you guys, okay? Women need respect as well, but it's not enough for women. You see, women need to feel cherished. That's when they feel most fulfilled.
It's in the good book. I mean, and if you look in Ephesians 5, it says, men love your women. Women are to respect the man. I mean, they got a thing right or two in the good book, and that's how important it is.
Yeah, for men, respect is the most important element in any relationship. They would rather be with someone. Ladies, listen. Men would rather be with someone who respects them, but does not love them deeply. Although, of course, that's not ideal. Then to be with someone that they know loves them, but constantly disrespects them. Yeah. If we had to choose, we would rather be with someone that respects us, that we know doesn't truly deeply love us, than having to be with someone that we know loves us, but they constantly disrespect us. That's how important this is. Mm-hmm. Missing respect is also responsible for the sad state of modern relationships. Again, the two most important elements in any relationship is love and respect. And men and women need both. But if you drill down to the heart of the conflict, it's about men feeling disrespected and women feeling unloved. Those are the two common themes that I see. And in the light of this knowledge, the sad state of relationships makes more sense, when you think about this. For many women, it's completely normal to disrespect their boyfriends and husbands on a daily basis. So you can imagine that most men have accumulated a lot of resentment for their partners, and it's spilling out in all kinds of healthy ways out there. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about this real fast, okay? I want to talk about to the ladies a little bit, because I want to talk about what it means to respect men in relationships. Because some of you are probably saying right now, okay, Jimmy, I got it. Respect is important to men. I'm hearing you loud and clear, but what exactly does lack of respect look like? Can you give me a couple examples? Yes, I will. Respect is such a central element to relationships. And honestly, it's astonishing to me how many women do not treat their man with even a minimal level of respect. When it comes to relationships, and particularly men, I'd like to introduce you to a concept that is probably new to many of your ears. I'm going to call it unconditional respect. You've probably heard of the unconditional love phrase, but I think that we should also place the same emphasis on respect because it's such an equally important ingredient in successful and fulfilling relationships. So here's what my examples of unconditional respect means. Okay. To respect someone means this: keeping a respectful tone of voice, even when you're upset. Okay. Your tone, ladies, watch your tone, because some of these men are not playing that game with you. The next one, not blaming, shaming, or being hypercritical on things.
A real man would.
Yeah.
You're a real man. Oh, they do it on purpose. I'm going to be the mean guy on this one. They do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Yes. Drink the mug. I'm sorry?
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
They can't beat the hell out of us. So their fists are their words.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
And it works. It's effective.
You're a little far away from the mic, so when you talk, if you could, just
that's what I said. Well, just to repeat myself real quick, I said it's because they can't beat the hell out of a man, so their fists are their words, and it's effective.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. Another thing to show respect is to not being controlling. Another one is to not trying to force our will onto our partner, convincing them of something that they don't want to do. Okay. No emotional manipulation. Valuing your partner's opinions. My pet peeve, no interrupting. Let them finish their sentence. Another one, let me think. How about listening to them with your full presence, like giving them, space to express themselves, like truly listening with big ears, not small ears. Assuming that they have good intentions toward us, not always jumping to the worst case conclusions whenever your man's talking. And this one's going to be hard for some of the ladies out there, admitting when you're wrong.
Oh God. I think you got a picture of the, women try to admit that they're wrong. Yeah. Yeah. Good luck on that one. Well, there's, I guess.
I add one if I can.
Yeah.
Don't tell me how I feel.
Yeah.
But, Richie and I were talking, I think it was a few weeks back. We were talking about this topic of conversation, and Richie was giving me some scenarios about disrespect. So, Richie, if you could tell us a little bit about the covert and overt respect and what the difference is between those two.
Okay, I love this topic because I've helped you out with it a little bit. Let me set the scene real quick. I'm like a fly on the wall. I can see 3 steps ahead. I can sense it. It hits me right in the gut. These small little things that women do to test you, and men don't think it's a big deal. And they say, "Hey, let's not fight about that. It's not worth the battle." I disagree. I think you should fight every friggin' battle. Can I curse on this show? I can't remember.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm choosing, especially in the beginning, choosing every fucking battle, every single one of them, even the small ones, because it's subtle. Women, now, just to show the difference between men and women, is men speak, just to draw the lines, men speak overtly. I don't like that. Women give clues.
Right.
They'll give a look, a tone. They don't say things overtly. It's just that not their style of communication. Well, their signs of disrespect are the same thing. Overt disrespect is bat sass, the shaming language. That's overt disrespect. Walking ahead of me instead of aside me or a little bit behind me. Yes, I'm old school like that.
Yeah.
Overt disrespect is maybe slamming the door. Hey, let me tell you the biggest sign of disrespect. And actually, do I have time for a story?
It's story time.
My now ex-wife, but this is when we first started dating. Here's an overt example of disrespect. And I hate this. Is when we're in an argument and the woman hangs up on you. Okay? Yeah. Overt. Homie, don't play that. Okay?
That's a pet peeve of yours. That's a pet peeve of yours.
No, that's not pet peeve. It's a switch. It is the biggest line of disrespect. And here's what I told her, and I hold this to this day. Okay? I told her back in a few minutes. I cooled off because, listen, I believe men should be dominant, and dominant doesn't overreact. They don't yell. They don't react with emotion. I said this, don't you ever hang up on me again And I don't care how long we'll ever be together. If you ever do, you will never hear from me ever again. That is unacceptable behavior, and you're not going to do it as long as you're with me. You can do that to somebody else, but rest assured, you will not do that to me. Now, here's your choice, and I give choices. I don't have conversations. I give choices. You either agree never to hang up on me and have a conversation, or we could end this right now. Because I don't play that. We can have conversations like adults.
Yeah.
And you know what? We were together for 5 years. She never hung up. No. During the divorce process, one time, 5 years later, she hung up on me.
Well, divorce process.
That's an overt. That's an example of an overt sign of disrespect because you're not letting me finish my sentence. And covert is maybe, let me think of a covert one. Eating off my plate.
Oh God. Oh, I hope certain women are watching right now.
All right. Or are you sure you want to wear that with these little subtle changing? How about this? The little sassy attitude, or changing my radio station. Little thing. Or if my food comes and it's wrong, she starts stepping in. I go, hey, I can handle this. Okay. Little subtle. It's subtle signs of disrespect, and I handle it right there. Any bratty behavior, any tone, they'll do it with tone. Yeah. Are you sure you want to do that? I'm like, I said, I'll have this conversation, but you're not going to talk to me that way. Little signs.
Yeah.
One recently is maybe changing the GPS. I don't like that.
I got to hear more about that one. That's
I'm
an
the
interesting
captain
one.
of the ship. You asked me, is my car? Holding the purse.
Oh yeah.
We're going to talk about that a little bit.
No holding purses.
We don't hold purses here on Dad Talk today. I don't do that. So there's covert, there's overt, and then it's subtle. And you know what? We know. I know men know that, but there's a few reasons why they don't. They don't think it's worth the battle. They're scared that she might get upset, and then they're going to have an argument, knowing that the shaming language is coming. It's a waste of time. Mm. They also think that she might break up with him over time, and they're scared they're not going to get another one. Okay, it's it's death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah,
and you have to look out for the covert little tests, and you have to. I see where you're going with the unconditional, but I think you should demand respect. Yeah, demand it, and it makes her feel safe.
So I've known a lot of the women that you've dated, at least 80% of them, and I will tell you that I can't think of many times where you've been with a woman who's disrespected you, because I've known you for a long time. You usually will handle that stuff right when it happens. You don't let it go on. You right. Talk about it. You're not a jerk about it, but you are direct about it. And
I'm a jerk about it.
Well, you certainly have in the past, and we all do get to some degree after you've, talked about this for a while. Here's my question, Richie, is why do men allow their women to continue to disrespect them? Why don't men require respect?
Well, that's a very good question. I think it's because they value their feelings over their own, and they value being loved by her. Like, it's almost like they don't value their own. They don't have self-respect. It's a self-respect thing. I think that's what it is. But
it's been whittled away.
Well, I just don't think they want the confrontation, because they just know where it's going to go. They know the woman's going to argue with their emotions. Men statistically, there's studies that show this. We lose the battles that women are better at arguing. You want to know why? They argue with emotion. You can't really argue with emotion, and really they just it's like a boxing match, and they just wear down their opponent, or they know they're not going to get hit, so they raise up the temperature, and then you get angry, and then you have to apologize that she's upset over something she did or that you did, instead of having a conversation. Okay, so I just don't think they value I think they value her love over them getting respect. It's a disproportionate value to them.
Yeah. What do you think, Dwayne?
Well, there was two I was kind of hoping you're going to touch on, and they kind of go together, and they're more for like I guess the married guys or people in blended families. One of my big huge pet peeves is usurping my authority, and that kind of ties into another one, which is the order of the household. Man leads the house, woman follows, kids. I mean, there's the order, and that's how I have it set up. That's the way it works. All that good stuff. But my huge pet peeve is when my authority is usurped, and that would be, and I use that old English word because, and what it basically means is when I say, okay, kids, you have to go to your room, you're in trouble, and then she comes along and said, oh, you don't have to listen to him, just go do your thing.
Right.
That would be an example of that for for the ladies if you're don't know what usurp means. But that's one of my huge
pet peeves.
That is hugely disrespectful, and that's cause for drop you off at the curb. I've learned, again, been married 3 times, and I've learned that you cannot allow an ounce of disrespect into your household, or you will eventually lose. You'll eventually be divorced.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I agree with you. Why do you think, though, that more men don't require this respect, though? Because women are going to test the boundaries. They're going to do testing
all day.
It sounds like Richie believes that men, they love their woman so much that they want to, not be confrontational, not make her feel bad. Do you also think that's why men don't require respect? Like, why don't you think that more men will put their foot down and let it be known, this is my boundary?
Well, the society teaches that men are idiots, that we're losers, and we make fun of us. And a lot of times, men just want to keep the peace in the house. They just want to be left alone.
That's it. Like you said, they don't want the argument. They value the peace. They just don't want to have an argument.
Yeah.
Right. It's if she I don't know, lets the kids go out past their curfew that they know is not supposed to be there. He's like, God, I don't want to. I mean, she already knows this. I've already explained it to her. I just don't want to. It's 9 o'clock and I don't want to deal with it. And then the problem is, guys, is that she goes, "Oh, I can do this. Is the new starting point for me. Now I'm going to do this now." And then next thing you know, she's cheating on you with 20 guys going, "Oh, I didn't know I fucked you, Dad."
Yeah.
Do what? I can't hear you.
20 guys, Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm just no personal experience here, but it starts out, and I mean, it's one of those, if you listen to nothing else, listen to this. Do not allow a toe in that door. You have, the first time she disrespects you, either lay it out for her, kick her to the curb. If she's high quality, give her that opportunity to, if you can tell she truly just doesn't understand it because she's never been with a quality guy. And that's another thing too. This chick may have been, doing this crap to guys because, she was in her 20s and she thought she could get away with it in her 20s. And now she's a little bit older, whatever. And then she's like, well, I've been doing it to the last, guys I've been with. You're no different. And it's your job to be, no, I am different. And I'll tell you right now, the girls will respect you more.
Yeah.
After you do that, they want to be, and I know this is going to sound mean to any woman listening to it, but women want you to keep them in line.
They do.
Cold hard fact.
I agree with that. I'm going to pose another scenario too. I do agree with both of you guys. Okay. I think that what you pose is probably the majority of the reason why men don't demand respect. I'm going to pose something that may not be as frequent or often, but I do think it's a reason that men don't try. And that is that men are afraid that she'll leave him, because some men don't have options. They act off of a scarcity mentality. We've done many podcasts proving that men have less sexual options than women have, right?
Yeah.
In general. And when a man breaks up with a woman, it'll take him a couple months to finally get another steady, where a woman can probably have a steady within that same exact week. And in my experience, not me personally.
Maybe at your guys' level, I was like this. I'm a 2 or a 3 on a good day. I could get something like that.
There's a lot of guys, and I'm glad you can. But But there's a lot of guys out there who really struggle on the dating market, and if you have this scarcity mentality, then
wearing t-shirts like that,
yeah, that's going to kind of bleed into your personality, and you're going to avoid conflict because of a fear of loss. That's why I'm always teaching guys to be the best versions of yourself, because what I'm indirectly teaching men, when you get to an advanced level of understanding of why I do what I do, is I'm teaching men to always have options, to always be attracting the attention of women around you, because one of the best ways to help keep your woman in line without having to say a word to her is when she knows that other women want you. As a matter of fact, yeah. And that's why,
oh my God,
that's why married men are sought after by women, because I forget what it's called, but there's some psychological thing, and I don't remember what it's called. But if a woman feels that nobody wants this guy, she will also not want the guy.
Right.
But if she sees that guy with a pretty girl, especially, then she goes, whoa, he must be something I didn't know he was. He must be the kind of man that I didn't realize this. Other women want this guy. Now I want this guy. See, men and women, we do that differently, right? Like most men, if your friend, your guy friend, has a chick and he admires her or thinks she's pretty or whatever, most men are not trying to steal your chick. We have honor, right? Bro code. But it doesn't work that way with women, does it? A woman will look at her girlfriend's guy and sometimes will say, I not only like a man like him, but I think I actually want that guy, right? Yep. So in a weird way, guys, what I'm telling you is I'm not telling you to throw it in your woman's face that you have all these options. No. I'm just saying keep yourself always at a level to where you do have options, you know it, and she knows it, and you'll have this confidence about you, and it will come through in your words and your actions. You know, if you guys want to be better looking, grab a bald cap like Dwayne has. Okay.
Can I add on that real quick?
What? Go ahead.
I don't think it's. I agree with everything you're saying. You definitely have to have options, but we have to also be honest. Most guys will not. Let's add another layer. Because most people, it's not in our human nature to put the work in. It's just not. For example, I mean, we're in New Year's resolutions right now, and 80, I think it's over 70% within the first 3 weeks give up. People usually don't want to put the work into something. Well, so I want to give another tool, another mindset of where that will help them. And I think men are better at this, which is I'm willing to walk away and be alone. I'm willing. My commitment is that strong. My conviction is that strong. Like I might not be with someone else. And believe me, I've been where I stayed with my ex-wife about 6 months longer because I was more scared to be alone. But eventually I go, I'd rather be alone. But most people stay in. I'd rather be alone, but you don't tell her that. But you have I'm willing to walk away and either go get someone else, or I'll be alone before I let you treat me that way. Yeah, I'll be alone first.
Yeah.
And that's strength. That's strength right there. Women will value strength, and that will come with respect. Just say, I'd rather that's something you got to say to yourself. I'm willing to be alone than to deal with this.
Yeah.
Says it in the Bible too, right, Dwayne? Isn't it better to be on a roof in the desert than with an unruly wife?
That's in there. Yep. And Paul actually said to be by yourself is actually preferred. But if you have to marry a high quality woman.
What's the guy on the roof? That's what I don't get. I go just kick her out. You know, it's my house. Like, but I don't know why I'm on the roof.
I told a woman once when she was in on her issues and disrespecting me. I told a woman once, I said that I would rather accommodate my life to your absence than accommodate my life to your lack of disrespect.
Yeah.
So it's really important for guys. Heather Cordova says this: if more men were straightforward like that and didn't put up with it more, women would act right. Most men let us run all over them, and we just won't go for a strong man. Men need more self-respect. I can't disagree. I agree with her. I mean, guys, Dwayne said it a couple minutes ago, and even Heather says it right out of the horse's mouth. Women do at least admire or respect when a man sets the boundaries and the rules and doesn't allow her to run roughshod. Think of it on a psychological standpoint in the minds of a woman, right? A woman's job is very hard. And here's what I mean. Women have always been hardwired to find a mate that they feel safe with emotionally and physically, right?
Hypergamy.
We live in a very we live in a society right now where it's way more safe to be a woman than it ever has been in the history of the world.
God, yeah.
The world is civilized pretty much. You're not dying from walking from one city to the next like you did 200 years ago as a woman. You would need the escort of men to just go from one city to the next. A woman can have hardly any fear of being a victim of some sort of criminal. It still happens, but at a very, very minute level. My point is this, but it's still ingrained in them to find a man who can protect them physically. Mm-hmm. And this is how she's thinking. If you will allow her to treat you any old certain way, it doesn't show dominance and strength in her mind. Because if she doesn't think that you can handle one woman, then how the hell are you planning on handling one or two guys that steal her purse or kick your front door down in the middle of the night? If she's wondering that you won't set boundaries and stop one small little woman, how could she ever feel safe with you protecting her against many people? Right. That's kind of their logic behind it. And I do see the point of the women out there. So my point, guys, is you've got to set your boundaries. You've got to make sure that you are requiring respect. As a matter of fact, while I'm thinking about it, guys, let me give the men some advice. Okay. Being respected, it does lie in your hands. If all men would just make sure that they are treated with respect, the world would be a much better place. Why?
Yeah.
Because men wouldn't carry around such a constantly growing mountain of resentment through being disrespected on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it's not a wise idea to wait until others understand how important respect is for you. That would be a waste of time, and it's likely not going to happen anytime soon. So instead, be the ones who make sure that others treat you with respect. Not all women are going to admit this, but women love it when men actually take lead and command respect because it makes this woman feel incredible trust towards men. And if this sounds too good to be true, okay, book a coaching session with me, and I'll show you exactly how you can create an atmosphere of respect within your own relationship.
Well, we had Brandy on a few months ago, my wife.
Yeah,
we were talking about things. We talked about some of the arguments we got into, which did involve an amount of disrespect, and how she had to learn respect and how to treat me, and the order and all that stuff. And things got, they were great. They were good, and they got great. And, when she is in her feminine, and when she's, we're doing our roles, and she's respecting me, I'm loving her, it's all going good. It's a great relationship. I mean, she had to learn that. Her previous relationship did not work that way, but she thought that's how relationships were. So when she came into this relationship, she thought, oh, I can do this, I can do that. And I put it, that's not happening. And then we worked through it because she's a woman of value, and we have a great relationship. She still steals my food. We'll be talking about that later, but that's just a joke between us.
So we've given the men some advice over the last 20 minutes, right? Let me give the ladies a little bit of advice, okay? And let me share with you, if you guys, the ladies listening to this podcast, are not bought into this yet, I'm going to show you how respecting men makes him actually want to be closer to you. The effect respect has for men in relationships is incredible. You have to understand it. In the great gender war, there's a peace offering. And in this instance, the woman is laying down the weapons first. I know this is scary for you, but if you really love men, you'd want to end the war. So when you start treating men with respect, they will respond by offering more love and understanding towards you. Being respected makes them feel masculine, and it means that their natural instinct is to protect and provide. That instinct is being triggered amongst them. This means that they will want to make a woman feel special. Ladies, in my own relationships, regularly tell your partner all the things that you respect and value in in your own relationships, okay? You will literally see your man light up. He will look at you with brand new eyes, and you will feel that he really sees you. If you would just take a deep breath and ask with kindness for what you need in your relationship, instead of listing all the ways in which he is failing, like many of you have done in the past, then you will feel his love increase because he appreciates that you made an effort in treating him with respect. When you start treating men with respect, they will respond by offering more love and understanding, period. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you see him forgetting to do something in the household, you notice little habits that drive you nuts. Remember all the amazing things that he brings to your life and how he sincerely tries to contribute to your well-being every single day in so many ways. He's not perfect. Men are not perfect. We're not perfect. But honestly, did you expect him to be? After all, you're not perfect, but he still accepts you, doesn't he? If you remember that, it will make you, if you remember all those things that he does right, it'll make you want to respect him even more. It's a positive cycle towards more appreciation and more connection. And of course, the big part of this is okay, ladies, healing your emotional wounds from the past, because it's hard to feel respect when you are constantly remembering how badly you've been hurt by the men in your past. Number two, learning how to set healthy boundaries, because respecting men does not mean that you accept bad behavior. That's not what I'm saying. So ladies, just kind of keep that in consideration whenever you think about why you should respect men. You'll get so much more by doing that than you ever thought. While I'm thinking about it, folks on Facebook and folks on YouTube, if you don't mind, make sure you support the page by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, push the little bell icon. That way, when the videos go live on Dad Talk Today, you guys are notified. All right, guys, let's switch gears a little bit, okay? Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about love. You guys want to talk about love? Okay, so ladies.
I love love.
Yeah, Richie loves love. Ladies, you have to understand that men do not see love the same way that you do, okay? To you, words and actions equal love. Same for men, fair enough, but it's not quite the same. If you showed him love through actions and words, but constantly disrespected him, he will not feel you love him. For a man, respect equals love. Guys, tell me I'm lying. Right?
I'd put respect higher, but yeah, I mean, I see your point, but yeah.
Yeah,
we're talking about
respect equals love. That's how we
see it.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you were to ask a man to choose between the lesser of two evils, let's say you posed a question to him. Men, would you rather feel alone and unloved in the world, or would you rather feel inadequate and disrespected by everyone?
I'd rather be alone.
Would you rather be alone and unloved, or would you rather feel inadequate and disrespected by everyone?
Yeah.
Men, when I ask these men, the overwhelming answer is, I'd rather feel unloved, just like Richie said.
Yeah.
Both genders, because there's only two genders for all the woke people that are watching me right now.
Oh,
yeah, it's true.
You didn't say there's only two genders?
There's only two, men and women. Okay? So for all the woke people, there's only two. F you. So for the two genders, respect. We both need it, yes, but men need it like the air that we breathe. Women, on the other hand, have a much deeper propensity to have a feeling that they want safety and affirmation through words. But here's the catch. When it comes to men, a lot of times they don't see the difference. If they are disrespected, if men feel unloved, then if they're disrespected, then they would absolutely feel loved. So if you want to love a man, then you need to make sure that he feels respected. Now, the ladies listening are probably saying right now, well, I do respect my man. But it turns out that a lot of times a woman's words or actions convey the exact opposite. Okay. And I know that some of you ladies are not intending that to be the case, but check this out, ladies. Ladies, have you ever been completely perplexed when a man has responded negatively to you and you're thinking, what did I say? If that's the case, then you unknowingly and likely disrespected him. Okay. A lot of times men won't necessarily blurt out in the heat of moment, stop disrespecting me. But you can be very sure that if he is angry, and by the way, I don't know why people get so upset about the word anger. Anger is like any other emotion, sadness, happiness. It's all on the same feelings chart. Okay.
Right.
But of course, whenever we have the word anger and man in the same sentence, we automatically get, wife beater, right? So men are allowed to feel anger just as women are. So just think about the natural response that most women have when they are upset. The words that they will say to themselves are, well, he obviously doesn't care about me.
Oh, God.
He doesn't care enough, which means that he doesn't love me.
I got to say something. You know what the problem with women are? I'm going to tell you. I'm not as forthright and as polished as Jim is. I'm going to tell you what you ladies' problem is. So listen up. Turn the mics up just a tad.
The views expressed on the Dad Talk Today Jimmy show are not necessarily reflected in the.
That's fine. I'm just that. All right. So all you ladies, and I'm going to tell you, some of these comments from the guys are concerning to me, which I like to hold my woman's purse because we'll get into that in a little bit. But I'm going to tell you, here's the problem. Women expect men to love them like they love us. We love differently. I used to have these conversations with my mother, my baby mom, my daughter's mother. Baby mom is ghetto. my daughter's mother all the time. We love differently, but they want to feel they think how they love is how we love. So if we don't do what they do, then we don't love them.
Right.
And guess what? We're not going to love each other at the. Here's another problem, ladies. Here's another problem that you have. I'm not going to be as nice as Jim is. Okay, is that you think we're going to love each other exactly the same amount at exactly the same time? That you might be in the mood to love me. I might not be in the mood to love you as much. And you should love me more. Okay? So that's the problem right there, is that you expect the same rate of love at the same type of love at the same time, which is crazy. That's why you're all crazy. So there you go.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you very much. Thank you. So since we're talking about emotions here, let me go ahead and switch gears again. And let's talk about men and emotions, okay? Because my emotional friend here, he's not afraid to show them. Okay,
I'm Italian. It does not count to be called emotional.
Yeah. I'm Greek. This guy's Italian. That's just what you're going to get. So I try to be a little bit more diplomatic. Richie he don't give a shit. All right. So let me share something with the ladies about men and their emotions. A lot of times I hear women complain that men are emotionally unintelligent. I hear that a lot lately. Okay, that the only emotions that men show are horny, hungry, angry. Look, men are far from emotionally unintelligent. We are just selective with the emotions that we show.
Oh, yeah.
It's not that we lack the emotions. Okay. We just don't show them all. When I say this, women will tell me that men are afraid to show their emotions and that they feel that men should open up and share their emotions more. But yeah,
they use it. Oh, am I going to steal the thunder here? Because okay, I know where you're going. I'm not going to say it,
and I know where you're going, my friend. So let me share a sad truth about men that my buddy Dwayne was just about to say. Okay, ladies, understand something, please. Please hear me. Ladies, I want you to lean in and listen to me. Okay,
lean in.
Men are not afraid to show their emotions. They are not afraid that they are weak. Men are afraid that their emotions will be used against them.
Yep.
They are afraid to be manipulated, to be taken advantage of. Men are afraid to be made to feel lesser than after they reveal a piece of themselves that is vulnerable. Mm-hmm. Most all of this fear that men have come from their interactions with women. Okay.
Well, and we're trained by society. I mean, not to say we're all going to war, but when you're on the battlefield, you don't sit in the corner and cry. You get the job done, and then you go deal with your emotions.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ingrained into us not to show emotion. But to your point, with women, you show them your emotion, and that's the first thing they shove in your face. I still hear about me in Transformers. Still.
Really?
No, I'm joking. It is a big joke. Yeah. I cry. I cry when Optimus Prime died.
Oh, Jesus.
It's okay.
You're going to make me shame you right here on this show. We need to start acknowledging the verbal and emotional abuse that men experience from being in relationships with women. It doesn't just happen to women, okay? So much of the abuse that men experience does not go reported due to society's expectations that men should just take it, okay? Or that men are just weak if they share. It's time to start bringing to light the truth about the situation. No one, male or female, should have to undergo domestic violence or domestic abuse. And that goes for physical, emotional, and mental as well. If men do not feel safe knowing that when they reveal their vulnerability, that it won't get used against them, do you know what they do? They stop sharing. And if that man doesn't have a close male friend to sound off on when he needs it, then what's going to happen is that those men will retreat within themselves and begin to resent the woman that made him feel that way, which is his spouse. She will feel this, but she will never know why he feels that way. Ladies, when a man does not feel appreciated in the area of his presence, he becomes a version of the man that he can give you and still survive. And I promise you, you will not like that version. That version of him is silent, frustrated, sharp with his words, and non-communicative because he has to become something that he can survive in.
Right.
So you have to understand, ladies, that if you have a man that is shut down and doesn't share, you have to understand why that is. Whenever I work with men on how they handle disrespects within their relationships, I hear a lot of emotion. The same emotions that some women claim don't exist, I see it. Why? Because men typically won't use a man's emotions against him.
Right.
They know how harmful that is. So let me share some feedback from men in relationships whenever I asked how disrespect made them feel. Okay. I'm going to read a couple things right here. I'm going to read a couple things. This is from Ed Stanek. I think the word respect is misunderstood a lot because it means different things to men versus women. When I'm trying to explain this issue, I will often substitute the word trust. You respect me by showing that you have faith in my abilities, but more importantly, in my character. In other words, that you trust me. If you trust me to do a good job, including as a leader, and to be a good person, the opposite is condescension, aka treating me like a child. It's not about being elevated or seen as superior. It's about being respected. It's just like being respected at work. I don't need to be uplifted and praised. I would just rather settle for not being spit on. Another man named Wyland. I used to not go home from work. At the office, I was respected for my knowledge, experience, and contribution that I made. At home, everything I did was incorrect or commented on or redone. When I mentioned that I'm being treated like a child, I was told not to act like one. Did not want to hear it from me at all. At work, I was constantly asked to make decisions. At home, my inputs towards any decision was basically ignored or not valued.
Was that written from jail?
No, these are comments that I got whenever I was talking to guys. A guy named Joel said, we men are better off without women. I spent 19 years with a woman that had been nothing but a bad wife. I never did anything right. She went on to find a boyfriend, left me with 2 kids. She learned her behavior from her mother. I'm only hoping that I broke the cycle. Then I met another woman who used me like a well-oiled machine that I was. Then one day I spoke up for myself, and within 2 weeks, she had a new man in her life, and I was out after 14 years with her, all within one night. There are no good women out there. If there is, they won't look at what you have to offer. I'm sorry that guy feels that way.
What's that guy's name?
Joel.
Man. I know, on the screen.
Oh.
Man. I am Man.
I like that guy already. Another one. His hashtag is light dog. Okay. I just asked my girlfriend of 16 months to please leave my house for this very reason. I loved her, but I loved her and she said she loved me. I don't care about cooking, cleaning, etc. But when she had anger issues and she disrespected me, my parenting skills, my son, my passed away wife, and I realized that in that very moment that this woman had to go. I paid 80% of the bills. I cooked, I cleaned, I managed a household. And yet every time I got off work, I dreaded coming home to this woman. Yes, crazily, I still miss her and her cute dogs, but living in misery and disrespect will never happen to me again. She's living with her parents at 45 years old while I sit in my home that I own doing what I want.
Yep.
Let me read just a couple more by Scott. He says, my late girlfriend, who is now passed, always had an attitude of gratitude. She often gave me sincere compliments. She told me how much she appreciated me and loved me. She cooked and baked for me 8 times a week. She called my mother and got the recipe of my favorite cookies as a child and made them. In 4 years we were together, she only turned me down for sex once when she was really sick. She took interest and participated in my hobbies. When I came home from work, she was often bringing me a beverage and told me that she would help me to relax. We both had our faults, but when I look back at the times we shared together, I realize how lucky I was to have this woman in my life. Many of my friends have commented on how fortunate I was to experience this. It's been about 8 years now, but every time I think of her, it makes me smile. And the last one I have for you is from a guy named Chris. He says, respect and being appreciated are huge for me. I was in a loving relationship where I was no longer shown appreciation. We had several discussions about how to fill each other's bucket, love languages, where it seemed better for a while, but eventually her actions or lack thereof always showed the truth. Trust her actions, not her words, he says. Eventually, I ended up spending less and less time with her as I treasure my time. Why spend it with someone who's unappreciative? I finally bounced. In retrospect, there were many reasons that came down to why we split. A large portion of it is my fault for not maintaining a strong frame career path for us, and I was not being a strong alpha leader for some of the relationship. We learn as we go. Much like ballroom dancing, there's a leader and a follower. If both parties accept their respective roles, the dance is fluid, magical, in tune with one another. Truly, huh?
It's a good analogy. Ballroom dancing, great analogy.
Truly a sight to behold. Partners dancing through life like that. I hope she finds that in her future, I will continue to care for her very much. As for myself, I continue to work on my leadership, my frame, friendships, fitness, and family. Perhaps one day I will dance again. So, guys, you hear firsthand how much respect means to men, okay? This last guy put it together very well, in my opinion. He even talks about accepting responsibility and not correcting behavior when he should have, right? Not being a strong enough leader. Let me ask you a question. Do these men appear to not love their women? Do you hear how these men want to provide for her and make their women happy? They do. You can hear it. But what you also hear is bitterness. You can tell that these men are becoming bitter and resentful for giving so much only to have their woman disrespect them.
Well, think about it. If it was a guy, I mean, what would you do with a guy that disrespected you? You'd knock him back to factory settings. You can't do that with a girl.
Yeah.
So you got to hold it in, and it just builds.
It also goes back to my point earlier that they don't demand respect, and if they fight, they can't fight them the way they would fight a man. They don't demand respect, and then they stay in it too long and they let it build up, like not cleaning the house. Or if the guy if she's being overcritical or doing if you clean the counter, she does it again, you don't put your foot down and say, either you do it or I will do it my way. Show me how to do it. Like, you got to set in the pocket, and it builds up and resentments over time.
Yeah.
All right. They just didn't demand the respect, and now they're bitter at all women. I'm sorry. That's just I don't buy that.
So so we've listened to, I don't know, 6, 7 guys talk about their relationships or their experiences with women who have disrespected you. What about you two personally? Do you guys have any stories about women disrespecting you guys? Because everyone knows who Dwayne is. They know who Richie is. They know who Jimmy is. You know, let's make it a little personal. You guys, tell me about some stories that you guys have went through. Dwayne, you want to start? Go ahead.
Oh God, so many. I mean, you know, which marriage? Rich divorce. I mean, you know, my ex-wife, my first ex-wife, you know, she stayed at home and didn't do anything. I got tired of the house. I mean, you've seen the video, one of the videos that I showed you of the house, and the disrespect got to, I just got fed up and would clean the house, and she would actually go right behind me and mess it up. I mean, that's just, you know, one there. I've had, you know, the usurping my authority. That's a big one. My second ex-wife, that marriage lasted all of 3 months. And hers was, as soon as the ring went on her finger, is when she went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And, you know, just every opportunity she had was to disrespect me, usurp my authority. That obviously was a big one. And I mean, I could sit here and tell stories all night long on that one, just on her alone. But, you know, and then having, doing something wrong, not apologizing. One of my other big pet peeves is if you do something wrong, you apologize for it, a sincere apology, not an I'm sorry. And, you know, I've had scenarios where, you know, I was wronged and then I didn't get an apology, which, you know, that does wear on you. Yeah, so many. I mean, gosh, it's like, how long's the show? Yeah, I could talk about them all night long, but the big thing is when they show you disrespect like that, what I've learned over, you know, my 51 years on this planet is you don't give an ounce, you don't give an inch. I mean, the minute they disrespect you, you shut it down. And if she's a woman of value and you've got a relationship with her, you know, and she honestly doesn't understand it, work it out with her, give her that one opportunity to, you know, pull her thumb out of her ass and, you know, treat you with respect. And if that doesn't happen, kick her to the curb. Doesn't matter what it's worth. Be okay being alone.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. And that's something I can tell you in the 51 years, you know, 3 marriages. I mean, that was the downfall of the first 2, was that they disrespected me. The first one, it took years for me to get those boundaries set up because I didn't know yet. And then after that first one was over, I thought, oh, no other woman could be that crazy. Was I wrong? I hadn't watched your show. And number 2, I was like, ooh, a lot of the same behaviors. I'm like, all right, boundary. She blew right past the boundary. I'm like, you're out the door. And, you know, that's the only way to be. There's no woman worth disrespect. None.
I tell you, man,
she's 11 out of 10, not worth it.
And you're right. You're right. I'm thinking to myself some stories about that I've personally went through.
All right. You, Jimmy, you've had stories like that?
I have.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually I'll check that shit, but there's been a few that have disrespected the Big Show, and no.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And Richie knows, because Richie and I have been running together for many, many years. And, you know, back in the day, in my better looking years, and, you know, when I was a stud back in the day.
A long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago, like last week. Anyways, we
talking about this is a stud show, not the Big Show.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. But you know, and I've talked about this before a little bit, how, you know, Rich and I used to run dating models and strippers and beer tub girls and bartenders, and you know, you go more. I think when you're younger, you go more for looks, and then what happens is you realize that some of these 8s, 9s, and 10s are trash on the inside. You know, they don't have much to offer other than their beauty. And I tell you, beauty ain't a pass. Just because you're beautiful doesn't mean that you can. I don't know why. You know, it's one thing taking abuse on the show, but I got to take it around the world also. Mike from Switzerland at 2 o'clock in the morning is.
He set his alarm for that one.
He does, man. He sets his alarms just so he can trash me. But I tell women, you know, beauty is not an excuse. Like you don't get a pass just because you're beautiful. you can walk out the damn door. Richie, I'm not going to say her name, but do you remember when we were in Jack's, that blonde girl that drank too much?
Which one?
Yeah, fair enough.
Which one?
Okay. So I was dating her whenever it was time for my 10-year high school reunion. I just bought my sports car. I had like a Dodge Viper, so I had like a fancy sports car.
Yes, remember her. Yes.
Oh, we got any pictures on this?
Maybe.
My ex did not like that girl. Didn't she? We had a birthday party, and that chick spit on our walls, dude.
Because she was drunk, bro.
She was drunk.
She did.
My ex was not having that.
Yeah,
I was not having that.
Dude, she was fine. She was fine, but man, her disrespect. I had to let her go. I'm touching my computer right now. Here.
Yeah, I want to see this.
So that's her and I back when I had hair, Mike.
I was going to say, who's that guy?
Yeah. Oh, and here's her modeling picture. I can post this without blurring her face because she's already posted online. But she's fine, bro. So her and I dated, right?
She
and
got crazy written all over her.
Oh, she is batshit. But anyways, so
I want to bring up my ex now that hated her.
So I take her to this high school reunion, and dude, I dieted for 6 months.
In your Viper.
I'm in my Viper. I got the sports car. I got the hot blonde. I'm walking in there, trying to make people believe that I actually did something with my life. And everyone, when a man knows, when a man goes to an event, whether it be, of course she's a blonde, exactly. Whether it's a work event or a social event, you are judged as a man on the behavior of your woman.
Yeah.
We go to this event. I can't remember if it was an open bar or not. I can't remember. All I know is that she drank and she drank and she drank and she got freaking drunk, dude. And she was stumbling around, slurring her words. And I saw that as disrespectful. And I've seen so much plastic. Dude, honestly, she had no work done. She had no work done except her lips. She was all natural. I can't say it anymore. I don't know about it anymore. But anyways, she got drunk, and that's a big, huge deal for me. If you're my lady on my arm and you go in there and you get sloppy drunk, and all my friends go, bro, your girl is like, falling over drunk, and all the other girls are going, oh yeah, oh your girlfriend's nice, it seems. I was embarrassed, and I talked to her about her behavior, and I cut that shit. So, because I had already spoken to her, I think once or twice before about that drinking, and after that night, she had to go. So I cut her. I gave her the cut, but that's an example. That's she didn't necessarily say anything to me like you're a piece of work or da 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 da. Her disrespect came from not words but actions.
Yeah, her actions. Yeah,
there's different levels of respect, but let's get to Richie. Richie, now you're on the open dating market now. Okay.
It's
free agent.
Dwayne and I have given you some stories about our past. You're currently going through it now. Did you have any like good dating stories where a girl did something or said something and you had to like check her, and then what happened? Like, give us a good one, man. Give me a good story.
I want evidence.
I got one for you. I got one. So let me set the stage. Okay, so I'm finally getting back out there after the nightmare of getting 50% child support. I didn't date for a few years. So I wanted to go get out there. And I met this really cute brunette. She's 33. And our first date, we went out, had some Thai. We had some chemistry. We made out in the parking lot a little bit. The one thing I didn't like, though, was that she was late about 20 minutes. I don't like late. I don't like it, especially on women. Women are always late for everything. God, it's annoying. But I give some grace, like 5 minutes, okay. But this was it's disrespectful. I said, okay, we're just meeting. I'm not gonna. I always have a rule of 3. I'll let 3 slide, and actually, we will point out why I always use the rule of 3, because the rule of 3 will be coming up in this story. So, second date, I wanted to go kayaking, but it wasn't the date for it. Plus, kayaking's not an expensive date. And so she wanted to go to Tiger Woods mini golf. I'm like, I don't want to spend all this money.
I remember the story.
Money.
So we go there. Guess what? And I went. Now she went. We went like halfway. It was a little closer to me. This time I was like, okay, I'll go closer to her. No big deal.
Did you go Dutch?
No, I don't.
Don't do Dutch.
No,
okay.
I don't do Dutch.
I
pay. I'm the man. I don't like this. By the way, I don't like this partner horse shit that's going on. I'm the man. I'm paying for the. But and she's ordering.
The least that she could do is show up on time, though, right?
No, she didn't show up on time. She's 20 minutes late this time.
Oh, on the third date, she's late.
Second date. This is second date. And we're at Tiger Woods. We're playing miniature golf, and I'm a little irritated at this point. Remember, when you don't date for a little bit, you're still getting your bearings, you're remembering. But I'm like, whatever. And then we only played like 6 holes, and I paid money. We had food. I'm like, wait, I just paid all this money. We're gonna play 6 holes. I don't feel like doing this anymore.
Oh.
All right.
Did she put her hair in a ponytail?
Huh?
Did she put her hair in a ponytail?
No.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, it was a wasted evening then. Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of a waste. I'm like, all right. So and then I was getting like the vibe on the second date wasn't the same as the vibe. Like we made out in the park a lot. I'm like, I'm sensitive. I didn't get the same. I'm even messaging her. Hey, if you're not attracted to me, that's cool. I mean, she goes, no, I just got to get to know you a little bit more. I'm like, oh, right. Cool. No big deal. So I'm still on Bumble, and I see a nice young lady. We start messaging. All right. So I said to her, I said, hey, listen, I always say third date. The third date rule. I'm old school. Third date. How about you come over? I'll make you a steak dinner. I'll make steak dinner. Have some good music. We'll have conversation, and see if there's even more chemistry. And I'm gonna pull out some of that. I'm gonna put the oil in.
All
right, loosen up, and I'm gonna put some of the old,
razzle dazzle.
This is going to be good, guys. If
I'm
you're
going to
listening,
put on some of the Rich Massa moves on.
Listen up.
All right.
Okay.
So then, I put the steaks on. I'm starting to make the steaks. Our date was for 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock.
Eastern.
Right? I start putting the steaks on. I'm getting it's laid out because Rich Massa's a romantic.
That's right.
All right. I'm putting out the apps. I'm putting out the wine. She might like red wine and white wine. I got rice cooking. It smells. I got smells. I got fragrance. I got music. I got got it. Go.
The stage is set, baby.
The stage is set. Love is about to be made. 7:05 comes. 7:10 comes. I put the steaks on. I'm like, this bitch is gonna be late. I'm not.
Cost me $30.
I'm like, I'm gonna give her 5 more minutes. 7:15 comes. So let's stop right there. I messaged the nice 20. She was 33. I went to the nice 27-year-old on Bumble. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? Would you like to grab a drink? I'd love to. Where would you like to go? Bahama Breeze, which is up a block, by the way, just in case. All right. Meet me there in 30 minutes. All right.
So hold on. So the 33-year-old girl was coming over for dinner. She was late.
She was on her way.
Yeah, she's on her way
there.
And because she's late, you texted you made another date with someone else.
Yes, I said, hey, let's go get a drink right now. Let's go. I'd love to go. Me and you're there. Cute girl, big ass, blue eyes. All right. So I messaged her, hey, sweetheart, look, you're a little late. I made other plans. Have a nice night. And then I ate that bitch a steak. With rice. You know what? I ate both steaks and the whole rice. And then she starts texting me, and I'm getting ready for the other date, right? All of a sudden, I get a phone call, and I went right to voicemail. She doesn't have the code. Fuck that bitch. So I'm going. Got another date. Your spot is filled. She starts calling me. She goes, I thought you said I thought you said 7:30 and 7 o'clock. I don't like to play games. You obviously need help. Don't ever call me again. And I even made you bundt cake in these little mason jars and blah, 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 blah. And you go fuck yourself. And heck, don't ever call me. Now, keep note. What did she say? Don't ever call me again. I'm like, this is where I go. Okay, bitch.
So for those of you listening right now, okay, what Richie doesn't know is that he actually screenshotted the text messages of this to me months ago, whatever.
Hey, hold on real quick. This guy, Chris Smith, just said, we're supposed to believe this? Well, Chris, hold on to your seatbelt, right? Hold on to your seat. Go ahead.
Chris, yes, sir. You are supposed to believe it because Richie, when he told me the story, I also said, prove it, send me the screenshots, to which he did. And I'm going to show you guys the screenshots right now about how crazy this woman is. Now, before I do send you the screenshots, okay, I want it to be known. Listen up, please. If there's anyone under the age of 18 years old watching this podcast live or watching it in the future, please click off the podcast because what you're about to see is very graphic. It's inappropriate language from a lady or from anyone, to be honest. So if you're under 18 and you do, please click off. If there's any parents that have their kids watching this, you should probably get your kids away from it now because I'm about to post something on here that is inappropriate. Okay. This is the text message thread between Richie and that lady whenever she showed up late for that date. He says, what's your ETA? Hun, you're almost 30 minutes late. I've made other plans, maybe another time. She's the one in gray. You said 7:30, sir. I just pulled up. Wait. Oh, my bad. Eye emoji. I'm sorry. Next one. Sent a voicemail. You got some issues, buddy.
Her name's Jess Bumble.
That's why it matters. I'm Bumble.
Sent a voicemail. You got some issues, buddy. I hope you resolve them. Best of luck. Now, you see, he's not even responding back to this chick. She is double, triple, quadruple texting. Coward. Your daughter deserves a better father. You ain't shit, she says. Why won't you answer my calls? You scared little bee. You really effed up. Do you understand how much effing gas I wasted? Guys, she's complaining about how much gas she wasted. Can you believe that, guys? This chick is telling us how much gas she wasted. That's how entitled she is. Oh, you think it's done? No, sir.
Oh,
it keeps going.
Before you go, she's calling before each of these texts, by the way. She's calling.
Yeah, look at the timestamps.
I made you take in these fucking jars. I want my money back.
Here's a next thread. Do you understand how much effing gas I wasted driving to your shitty apartment? I want my damn money back, biatch. F you, dude. Want to know why you could never read me? Because of a-holes like you. Stupid ass C. Wow, that coming out of a lady's mouth. Listen to this one. I hope you get hit by a car before or after you go to church.
What the?
Wait, the next one.
I hope your kayak never inflates again.
I took that one personal.
It ain't done. Here's the next thread. Oh, and rest assured, karma's an ugly bitch, just like your ugly ass, and karma's generational. So your daughter isn't safe from the mistakes you made. Be careful how you treat women. You wouldn't want your kid dating an a-hole like you, would you? So effing change your stupid C. You're so effing dumb. You would never have your own gym. You're ugly and short.
I'm not ugly.
Hey, Chris Smith, do you believe him now? Oh, wait, Chris and the rest of everybody, we ain't done. Let's keep it going.
There's more.
You're so effing dumb. You'll never have you're ugly and short, and you have mental issues. Psycho ass C. P ass B. F you. You ain't like this is
the next day.
This is the next day, guys. Yes. This is the next morning.
7:30 in the morning.
Okay.
No, I was getting nervous, son. I was getting a little nervous.
The date was Saturday night. She's still going. As soon as she woke up, the next day she started texting. Hold on. Let me back up. Sunday morning at 8:22. And she's still going at 11:30. Hours of this. And he's not responding. Okay. And I wouldn't say the biggest piece of shit because you are not big, okay? And it keeps going. F you, you ain't shit, you're pathetic. Sorry, okay. You're short, dumb, stupid, dumb MFer, eat shit and die, asshole. I hope you get screwed over for the rest of your effing life, you punk ass B. I would spit in your face if I ever saw you.
There's your proof.
So you guys go on a date later, or
No.
Good luck out there, guys. Good luck out there.
You know what's crazy though? The next chick that I took out, we hooked up a little bit. She had a boyfriend. She wanted to be in a throuple.
Oh,
She's polyamorous, and she wanted. And I'm not going to mention on the show because Jim, I thought I sent you text messages from the other one. She wanted me to do certain things a man shouldn't do without a condom in like a turkey baster. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I don't know how graphic you want me to get. I'm like, all right, I got to get recalibrated here. I don't know how I'm picking. I went
dating
from
has changed.
I dated some crazy, but it was like a good crazy. This is straight up insane asylum crazy. Then I said, listen, sweetie, that's another one. Like we messed around a little bit, but I can't be in a threat. But she called me the Dom Daddy. Like you're a Dom Daddy. I'm like I had to look it up on Urban Dictionary what a Dom Daddy is. Like, all right,
guys.
Okay. All right, it's getting crazy out there.
Guys, here's your strong, independent women out there wanting their gas money back.
And she was telling me on the thing she doesn't care about money. I don't care about how much money I spend. And then,
Yeah.
Wow.
Ladies, look, the more independent you get, the more masculine you become. We saw it firsthand. The more you focus on careers over relationships, the less you know about men. And all this masculine energy and lack of understanding for men will lead you to disrespecting them. Disrespecting leads to them no longer caring, and no longer caring leads to the death of chivalry. Chivalry is dead, and women killed it, period. Men, let's focus on you now. For all the women listening, you can go ahead and click off because the rest of this advice on this podcast is going to be for the men. And I know a lot of you would not like the advice I'm going to give to the men, so you guys can go ahead and click off right now if you want. So go ahead and save yourself the heart attack. Go ahead and click off. Guys.
Can I point out one comment? I just want to point out one where Brooke, can I point out comments, by the way?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Brooke says, here's a shaming tactic. Is this where men come for dating advice? It's like we're showing how some dates go. And then, of course, whose fault is it? She's implying, it's just an implication. I don't know if she means this. This is where men go for dating advice. This is how men should act if a woman's disrespecting them and then avoiding her. Like, yes, this is my response is no response. And then here's the shaming tactic.
Yeah.
Of course, implication, it's my fault because I picked her. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
You're the bad guy. You're the bad guy.
I'm the bad guy somehow. Oh, this is where men go. This is the dating market now.
And by the way, Brooks, more people should be coming to me for dating advice because you probably wouldn't be single if you took my advice.
Right.
But let me go ahead and
I'm wondering how many women she's dated also, because that's not the first time something like that's happened. All right.
So for the few men left who generally want to treat their women well, despite hearing these stories, don't give up. Hope is not lost, okay? But you will need to maintain frame with her and check her bad behavior. You are not a simp for wanting to treat your women well. And before I move on let me go ahead and talk about simp, because I was asked last week, someone heard me say the word simp. They didn't know what it was. I thought that everyone kind of knew, but let me go ahead and just explain to the guys out there what a simp is, okay? There's a lot of definitions of what a simp is, but the best way that I can describe it to you is a simp is a slang term describing a man who shows excessive sympathy and attention towards a woman. Typically a woman who does not reciprocate the same feelings while in pursuit of affection and sexual relationship with her. So in short terms, it's an unfair exchange of attention and resources with a woman. That is what a simp is, okay? So how do you handle disrespect? That determines, guys, whether or not you're a simp. If you want to know if you're not a simp, I think that Andrew Tate said it best, okay? He said the difference between a masculine man who is in his frame and a simp is that she no longer adheres to your creed. She no longer benefits your life. She no longer shows lack of generosity or disrespects you. Instead of continuing to give to her or to chase her, to allow her to benefit from who you are as a man without appreciating you for who you are and what you bring to relationship, if she starts doing that, stop talking to her. If she doesn't appreciate you, doesn't care for you and what you bring to relationship, stop talking to her. That's the difference between a man and a simp. A lot of men will say, oh, look, he bought her flowers and champagne, so he must be a simp. No. Buying women nice things and taking care of your woman does not mean that you're a simp. If she's beautiful and she's fit and she's loving and she's feminine, if she makes your life better and he takes care of her and he generally protects her with his spirit and she prays for him and she loves him with all her heart, there is nothing simpy in any regard to giving that woman the best possible version of a life and treating her well. But if she decides to disrespect you, well, then that's a different thing, right? A simp will continue to give after she disrespects him. A real G will not. That's how you know whether or not you're a simp or not. And how women, let me give you guys some advice on how women keep you guys strung along and accepting their disrespect. I, like most men, I love beautiful women, okay? I don't date unattractive women, but good-looking women use their bodies and their beauty as a weapon against you. I tell women that beauty is not a pass. Just because you're beautiful does not mean that you can get away with disrespecting me. Men, you have to understand that if you've worked on yourself like I have, you climbed to the top of the mountain, and you now have what most women desire, then you are the prize, not them. You see, men who are masculine, who got their act together, those men are rare. Most women want those men. Is a pretty woman rare? No. There are tons of pretty women out there. What's more valuable? Something that is rare or something that is in abundance? So, men, if you are that man, if you're not, then you're not. But if you're that man, then you are the prize, not her. And when she senses that you are willing to leave, she knows that she needs to either fall in line or she will be left. It's just what we said earlier. And what she will do when she realizes she pushed too far, how does she act? When she stepped out of your frame, when she's done you wrong, will she apologize, guys? Will she? Do women apologize when they're wrong? No, they don't. She will do one of two things. She will either turn on the sweet, innocent, feminine voice and become that cute little puppy that you love, or she will throw sex at you to make up for it. Tell me I'm wrong, guys. Am I right or wrong?
No, that's
not wrong.
Sex has made men stay in relationships with women that do not deserve you. Do not let a woman use sex as a way for her to win the battle. Men, you must have sexual discipline as well. Yeah. Not just the women. You also must have sexual discipline. If you are my girl and you do something that I'm not okay with and use sex on me in replacement of an apology, you want to know what I do? Swear to God, Richie will tell you. Want to know what I do? I roll over on her, guys. Guys, roll over on her and go to sleep. Take that power away from her because she's trying to use that to get back in favor with you.
But not all the way.
Yep. Huh?
But you won't be able to roll over all the way. More of a kind of a kickstand motorcycle thing.
Yes, some men like me, correct. Yes. But take that power away from her, okay? She's using that to get back into good graces with you, and you should never be so undisciplined that you allow her to use that against you. Roll over and limit her choices of reconciliation. Force her to look within herself to make the relationship work instead of thinking that her body will fix the problems that she's caused. Go straight G mode and destroy that ego of hers. When she wants it, roll the fuck over and go to sleep. They hate that shit.
Oh my God. They do not respond well at all. You say no once. First off, you say no once, especially in the beginning, like, which is actually, as the audience knows, I will purposely actually turn them on and then take it away just to equal out the balance a little bit, like, and we'll get into that. Yeah, you got to hit the buttons and like walk out, go to the other room, go to sleep, because then you have to take back some of that power. But let me tell you something: you will never see a woman more mad than you denying them for sex. They'll call you gay. They'll call you everything. All that little left leaning stuff goes out the window. That's it. You like men now. They'll cry. They don't feel pretty. Like all of it. They
do.
But you know what? That it's like taking their greatest weapon and just like it's like Neo from the Matrix. Like, listen, that has no effect on me. That's not why because you're putting a signal out there that's why I'm with you. You have to take that aside, and sex is an it's an exchange, not one way.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
It's reciprocal.
It is a reciprocal act. So you let it, they will use it as a weapon if just like some men use money as a weapon. That's their sex. Men shouldn't do that either. But if once a man knows he can do it, he will. Yeah. If you let them use it, their greatest weapon against them, they will use it. And that's just human nature. But that's a tangent, but let me tell you, they get so mad.
They get so mad, dude. And it works. It works. Just roll over. Let me explain to the people still listening why sex works so well on men. And some of you guys may not be aware of this, and some of you guys may. I don't know. When you listen to women complain about men, you often hear them say that men only want one thing. Men are all whores. It's just not true. 28% of men have had 0 sexual partners the entire year last year. Last year in 2023, there was 28% of all the men in America had 0 sexual partners last year. Meaning they did not have sex with a woman.
Right.
Not with themselves, but with a woman.
I was like,
About 30% of men will have had 0 sexual partners from the time they turned 18 to the time they are 30 years old. Don't believe me? Go to any Walmart, Starbucks, or fast food joint and tell me who's fucking those guys. Who? Nobody. Nobody is. So when women say, oh, there's no good men or all men are trash, who are they really talking about? Who they're talking about, guys, is the top tier of men who take care of their looks, who got their body right, who's got good game, a good career, who might be tall or might be handsome or dress well, etc. Okay, sorry. Some people, some ladies like tall guys. I don't know.
The 0.1%ers. Based on the statistics, the guys are about 1%.
I honestly don't care, but I always like to throw in that joke. But also, most guys are out of shape, man. Most guys are out of shape. And then they're expecting like their wife to want to have sex with them when they're raising up their dicky do and they can't see they can't, like, come on, man. And the guys out there, they're on video games. Not that there's nothing wrong with video games, but you have man tits, and you're expecting these women to want you. You have no. Of course, you're not going to have confidence. Of course, you're not.
Yeah. So when women are complaining that all men want one thing, that men are all whores, they just sleep around, guys, ladies, it's just not true. There's a percentage of guys out there who are absolutely not having sex at all. In today's world, almost a third of all men between 18 and 30 are still virgins. And gosh, darn near 30% of all the guys last year didn't have sex. So who you're really talking about, ladies, is you're talking about the top tier guys. The top 20% of men are sleeping with 80% of the women. That's who we're really talking about. And honestly, it's not like, oh, forget this new. It's kind of always been that way if you really think about it. Okay, Since the dawn of time, the kings, the dukes, the landowners, in today's world, the athletes, the politicians.
Real quick, only 40% of men has ever had kids.
That's right.
40%. So they're just really exposing now. With social media and dating apps are just putting gasoline on the fire and really exposing it and really putting the gender inequality at much bigger ends of the spectrum, which is starting to swing back a little bit. But it's always been this way. Always.
So if only 40% of all the men who's ever lived on this planet has had kids, but 90% of every woman that's ever been on this planet have had kids, then that proves to you right there that there's a small percentage of men sleeping with more than one woman. Women, you are sharing the top tier of men, and you always have. That is just the plain truth.
And since we're on the advice for men, is listen, we're in a time now is you gotta raise your game. Sitting here complaining and listen and listen, red pill content is awesome. Now I suggest one thing. Study the red pill because the metrics are there. The market, the women are the market. Just listen to what they're saying. Now, I think they're just saying a lot of things for clout because they usually, and we'll get into that another time, but they're saying they always want a protector, provide the guy with resources. What do those resources mean? Get as close to 6 figures as you can get. Get at least now the closest thing you get is in shape. That's the easiest thing you can do is put down the fucking donuts, all right, and maybe do some push-ups.
I feel attacked.
Sorry, Dwayne. You have beautiful hair though.
That
hair is gorgeous.
Okay. When I met Dwayne, he was like 260 pounds. The guy's like 218 pounds now.
Very nice. But look at it, but how much better is it? But it's not just that you don't do it for them. You do it
for me.
Because it raises the reps and it raises your confidence. The work that you got to put in to your job. Because once I started hearing the metrics, I'm like, okay, I'm a marketer. Once I hear that my client wants something, because I run my own business, I have to develop a product for that market.
Right. Okay?
I'm not a CrossFitter. People want to look good. So I've created body transformation programs. Now I specialize in it. So same thing, if you think like a marketer, you want women, don't get mad at them. They want guys who make this much money. Okay. Right. They want guys, at least they're very forgiving when it comes to the body. They're very, much more than we are. Okay. Now, you can at least get in shape and make a little bit more money, even if you get a side hustle.
Yeah.
Another thing too is, get your hygiene right and dress well.
Dude, even my sister, I'm not going to blow up my family, but I've heard women that I swear to God, if I hear one more woman complain, guys, wipe your ass. Seriously. Wipe your ass. What are you doing? I've had 3 women complain to me because I don't think you should just discount what women say. Like 3 of them complained that they pick up it looks like, did you wipe your ass at all? Guys, come on.
You're talking about their underwear?
Yes.
Dingleberries?
Yes. They can do together. Gotcha. Yes.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
That's pretty bad.
I feel like I know women they're a pain in the ass, but I feel for them. I wouldn't want to pick up their dirty panties. Hang on, I'm a little fucked up like that. I kind of would, but that's a separate subject. Okay.
So, thank you, Richie.
See that look, Dwayne? I just got out of the gym. That's why I say. You see that pause? Like, did he just? Yeah.
Say what?
On that note, I think it's time to close this show. This has been
time to wipe the show.
Hey, we're on a episode.
That's streak.
So here's my final thoughts. With respect, after all the cuss words and shit today, with respect, women have and I'm referring to more modern women, not our grandparents, but the more modern women. They have a jaded and misguided view of the world. Most women nowadays, they really don't have an idea of what men really want. Only a few women do. They have this false idea of what is happening in the world, but it's not really how the world is. And what women don't understand is that in every society throughout history, it's always been the top 20% of men that have been sleeping with 80% of the women. Most men do not have access to sex. So when a man finally is in a relationship and he's having sex, he's grateful. The problem is that when she steps out of line and disrespects him and knows it, she knows that she doesn't have to apologize, because most of the time she knows that all she's got to do is go to bed naked and let him decide if he's still mad or not. By taking this bait, men, you encourage her bad behavior. If you do not correct the behavior, she will continue to do it again. Do not fall prey to the power of the P. Remember, once you lose respect, you lose the woman. Guys, ladies, for all that's still watching, thank you for watching another episode of The Big Show. I do appreciate it. I hope you guys stayed entertained, that you laughed a little bit, that you learned something. Thank you, Dwayne and Richie, for being on the show today. I really appreciate it. It was a good topic. The Big Show here is here every single Sunday, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you guys next here for another episode of The Big Show. Until then, you guys have a great week. Stay warm out there because it's freezing, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care.